Okay, so while we're waiting, both of you were not here yesterday, so we could review from yesterday. Minik Chabad is that we light the menorah by the doorway, one of the rooms, as opposed to where other people out of Chabad will light by a window if they are ground level. Let's say they're not too high from the street where people could see it. They'll light at the window. But many Chabadis, we always light by a doorway in the house, inside. That's how we do it. Even at a Chabad, if they are too high, they are 30 feet above ground level, they'll also light the menorah by a doorway.
Like outside.
No, doorway inside the house. If they are too high from the ground, if putting it on the windowsill by the window will mean that they're 30 feet above ground level, then they will light it by a doorway in the house also. But we always light it by a doorway inside the house. Which doorway do you choose? You have a house with many rooms, so you choose better to use a doorway that's close to the place where you eat. The person is more connected to where he eats than where he sleeps. So preferably, it should be a doorway that's close to where he eats. We did mention that there's something from the Rebbe that the Rebbe spoke about that children should light by their bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It doesn't always work for everyone because of safety issues, but the Rebbe spoke about it because that's whatever's more personal is preferable. So, like, for example, in a dormitory, yeah, where should Bachrim or girls, let's say, light? Should they light in the dorm or should they light where they eat? So let's say you have a dining room where you eat. Then you have your bedroom. Where should you light? In your bedroom? Should you light where you eat? Where should you light? So actually, the better place is actually in your bedroom. Because it's more personal, that's your bedroom. Though there's an advantage in lighting where you eat, so you can eat. You'll eat something in your bedroom. Practically, most yeshivas don't allow it because of danger. You're gonna have, you're gonna hire someone to be walking around the whole time and watching, Chas v'shalom, something happens. So many yeshivas they don't allow in the dormitory. It's not safe, so they have a designated place downstairs in the dining room where it's totally away from everything, and like this, it's they section off area where otherwise everyone puts it in their own spot. In this room, and then no one is not necessarily everyone is careful exactly how to set it up. It should be safe. So that's how it is in most yeshivas. So obviously, if there's no permission, you can't do it. But in any case, you do the mitzvah wherever you put it, it's still doing the mitzvah. Whether you put it in the place we eat, we sleep. We're just discussing what's preferable. We spoke about the menorah has to be low. It's not supposed to be too high. It's not supposed to be higher than 10 tefachim, which is about the height of the table. It's supposed to be lower. It's Why? Because it should be noticeable that it was lit for the mitzvah. Usually something that's lit to give light is lit higher. So if the candle is burning higher up, how is it noticeable that it's lit for the mitzvah? Those days they always lit candles to give light. The whole idea of lighting the menorah is to publicize the miracle. It should be noticeable that you're lighting it to publicize the miracle of Chanukah. So if you putting it in the regular place we always light candles back in those days, how is it noticeable? And usually when you light candles to give light, you put it higher up. Like even over here, it's all the way on the ceiling. But even candles, maybe you didn't put so high, but not over here. So you put it lower, it clearly indicates that it's lit for the mitzvah of Chanukah. That's the idea of putting it in a lower place.
Okay. But you can still see it if it's lit, like higher.
No, the idea is we want it lower. No. We want it lower so it should be clear that it's lit for the purpose of publicizing the miracle. It's lit for Chanukah.
But why
When you
low?
put it low, because usually candles that are lit to give light, you put higher up.
Okay.
So when you put it low, it's different than the way you usually light candles. So now there's a clear indication that it's lit for the mitzvah of Chanukah, which the purpose is to publicize the miracle. Spoke about how long it has to burn. It has to burn until half an hour after dark. Okay, so let's move on.
Also, what about watching your candles burn?
What about it?
Are you supposed to sit for 30 minutes and watch them burn?
It's not an obligation, it's a custom. It's many chama to sit around. It's a custom, so that's why if a person is not able to, you still do the mitzvah. But if you're able to, you should.
For 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had a question yesterday, but in the class, you and also.
Yeah, but it's not related. It's not relating to the class, so like I'll ask it again.
So you ask. So right after class, you ask me. Okay. Now, if you noticed, Noida is different than the leichter that you have on the table. Leichter for Shabbos, you might notice like spiral, it goes around. It's like it's round, or it's not straight. The Noida that we light is straight, in one row. Some people think that the reason is because in the Beis Hamikdash it was like that, it was straight. That's not exactly the reason. The reason is because if you don't make it straight, if you make it like in a circle or a zigzag, then you can't always notice how many candles are lit tonight. When you move back a little bit from a distance, from a certain angle, how many candles are there? 4, 5, 6. When it's in a row, you can see right away. And the point is, you should be able to see right away how many candles are lit, so you could clearly see the miracle. You could clearly see what the candles are bringing out. The point of the candles are to bring out the miracle, how the miracle increased. Every night it increased more and more. The jug of oil that they found that could only burn for one day, burned for 2 days, 3 days. Oh, it's the second night, it's the third night. It should be clear and evident what's tonight. That is the reason why it's lit in a row, one row. You're not supposed to light like this, zigzag or make any other shape. It's specifically supposed to be in a row. It's also not supposed to be too close. If it's too close, again, you can't always catch right away. It can look like it's connecting, and also it can get very hot, and it can melt the candles very quickly. We are not allowed to benefit from the candles of Chanukah. We're not supposed to benefit from the Menorah. And that is one of the reasons why we have a shamash. The shamash that we light the candles with. Why do you have a shamash? Shamash, because how else? How are we going to light the Menorah, right? Everyone knows what a shamash is, right? Yeah. I'm going to light the Menorah without a shamash. That's not the whole reason. That explains why we have a shamash to light. After we light the Menorah, we take the shamash and we keep it there with the rest of the candles. What is it doing there for? You already lit the candles, put it out. One of the reasons is, right, in other words, one reason is to use it to light. And the other reason is, so you shouldn't come to benefit from it. You shouldn't come to benefit from the lights of the Menorah. Because if you have the shamash there, then in case you do end up benefiting, we could say you didn't really benefit from the candles of the Menorah because there was a shamash there. So you actually, the benefit you got was from the shamash. Even if there wouldn't be lights of the menorah, you still will be benefiting because there's a shamash there. So now you didn't transgress on this prohibition of benefiting from the menorah. So it's in case you end up benefiting, the shamash sort of protects you. It's still not proper to benefit. And we see benefit, I mean, like sitting next to the candles and reading the book, using the light. Even though there's a shamash, you're still not allowed to benefit because usually there's more light. And also, you want it to be a clear indication that it's lit for the mitzvah. Once you're saying that it's okay to benefit, now the way it appears is like regular candles that give light. You want it to be evident that it's lit for the mitzvah. So even though there's a shamash, you're not supposed to be benefiting. So the shamash is there in case you do end up benefiting. So it's not like you benefit from the Chanukah candles because there was a shamash there too. But it doesn't tell us that you're allowed now to benefit because there's a shamash there. Now, the shamash has to be higher than the other candles, than the other lights. Shamash has to be higher. And the reason is, first of all, the shamash has to be separate. Meaning, if the shamash is too close, and you don't know what night is tonight. The fourth night of Chanukah. There's a shamash there too. Okay. Oh, so take a look at the menorah. Oh, it's the fifth night of Chanukah. If you don't set it up properly, if you're using candles, let's say just using candles, right? And the shamash is very close. So how do you know what night is tonight? So the shamash has to be much more distant than other candles. Also, it says it should be higher because the purpose of the shamash is in case you benefit from it. And you get more benefit of something. It says why generally is the light on the ceiling? Why is it higher? Why when they lit candles they put it higher up? Because you end up getting more benefit when it's higher up. The purpose of the shamash is in case you end up benefiting from it. So you want the shamash to be higher, so in case you end up sitting and benefiting from the menorah, you'll end up benefiting from the shamash, which is higher, and when something is higher, you end up getting more light from it because it's higher up, it shines in a certain direction, which we end up getting more light as opposed to being lower down. But that's how it is. When something is higher, you end up getting more light from it. Now, having said that, something very important that comes up every year, I notice it, the children coming back from yeshiva, they come and they make projects, they make menorahs, and they get them excited about Chanukah. They're making different ways with wood crafting and all different ways how to do it, and everyone comes up with their own idea how to do it. Very innovative, this idea, that idea. But because everyone is doing their own thing, so in their mind, they're like, okay, everyone is doing their own thing, how to do it. Now, of course, they know it has to be in a row, that they know. But they're not necessarily aware the shamash has to be higher. Higher doesn't mean like a millimeter higher. It has to be higher. And you don't want the candles too close to each other. And many times I noticed it over the years with my children. It's constantly messing up. Not all the time, but it's a lot. More than you would expect. When they come back from menorah, that something is not done right. Either it's too close, the shamash is like this, four on each side, shamash in the middle, but there's barely any space between the shamash and the rest of the candles. Or the shamash is almost the same level. They make it a drop higher. If you make a menorah, especially if they're using candles, when you're using oil and the shamash is a candle, the shamash is much higher, it's a candle. When you're just lighting with candles and the shamash is a candle, now you make the place of the shamash a little higher. Make it this much higher, it's higher. Candles don't have a system, it's not like systematic. They burn in a certain way. They burn at a certain speed. They burn faster, slower. That means if you have the candle a drop higher, And the shamash burns a little faster than other candles because they don't always burn the same speed because of whatever reason, between the wick, whatever, the heat. Now, after a while, I'm looking at the menorah. It's the fourth night of Chanukah. The shamash is in the middle, right? Sometimes they put it on the side, depending how they do it. Let's say it's in the middle. Fourth night of Chanukah, shamash is in the middle. It's very close. And they're pretty much, I'm looking at it, they're burning down, they're the same level pretty much, because some candles burn faster than others. Now, you can't see which night is tonight. So especially when something you have to know one day, might be you work in the pre-1A, first grade, whatever arts and crafts, you're making these things, you have to know. When you're building a menorah for kids, make sure that the place for the shamash is much higher. It'll be 2 inches high. Otherwise, they're using candles. Also, it should be further away, but at least if it's much higher already, it's you don't want to make it too close because also the heat, when you make candles very close to each other, gets very hot, then it burns down faster. And the candles have to burn a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you don't do the mitzvah. Yeah.
Is it Chabad custom to have like a beeswax shamash instead of oil?
Correct. So minig Chabad is that the shamash should be beeswax candle as opposed to oil. So the menorah we light with olive oil, that's preferable. The miracle happened with oil. The miracle happened with olive oil. So it's preferable to light with olive oil. But in terms of the shamash, it's preferable to use a beeswax candle, not olive oil.
Why?
Now you're going to say that you anyways can't light. You can't have a shamash with olive oil. It doesn't work. Correct? Correct. But nevertheless, theoretically, after you finish lighting the menorah, if you have a place for the shamash that's with olive oil, then you light your shamash. But our custom is that it should be specifically beeswax candle, not olive oil. So the reason is brought down, I think the Rebbe explains the reason, that the reason is because, again, we want it should be clearly indicative which night is tonight. So we say the shamash is higher up. Another distinction between the shamash and the candles is that the shamash is beeswax, and the candles is olive oil. So it's another clear indication that shows you how they're different, that you're not going to look, how many candles are tonight? Oh, they look all the same. So even though it's already higher and it's different, but now it's even better. You have another distinction between them. And you can see clearly, these are the candles, what's tonight, and there's the shamash, because they're different than each other.
Why beeswax versus other?
Oh, so I was explaining beeswax as opposed to olive oil.
What do you do?
Beeswax is the good quality candles are made from beeswax. You go into the store, the yellow candles are beeswax. It's now why beeswax as opposed to other candles? Because it burns better, just a better quality. That's it.
But I thought we need to do it like with a high quality, like the best way to do it with high quality oil with
Olive oil. That's the can. We're talking about the shamash. The shamash we
the
use.
shamash is not considered like the can.
No, the shamash. Our minhagos we use beeswax. You don't use olive oil. Okay, so let's continue. Does anyone have any questions about where tonight? Because this is the last day we're teaching about Chanukah. Questions about traveling and going there? Do I light here? Do I light by my parents, grandparents, the Chabad house? I'm going to be eating there. Party. All those questions didn't come up yet. No. Huh?
If I'm traveling and I'm going to a friend's house, the father light and I'm there, it's considered for me.
So it's very individual, meaning has to be tailored to exactly your situation, which means where are you coming from? Where's your apartment? How far are you from apartment?
I live there.
I need to know all the details.
I'm staying there for Chag.
You're staying there, you're living in that neighborhood, you're traveling from a different neighborhood?
No, in her house.
You're staying there for the whole Chanukah?
For 5 days, part of the day.
So you're traveling to a different place and you're gonna be there and staying in their place.
Yeah.
Because they're not like same neighborhood, you're walking back and forth and
No,
this is where you're eating there, everything, you're doing everything there, right?
Mhm.
So now that her father's lighting, you should be there by the candle lighting. And better is if you'd also participate in the expense of the oil, which means you should give something towards the expense, give a quarter, $1. So the oil that he's using for the mitzvah will also be yours.
What if they already have it?
What?
What if they already have it?
Doesn't matter. They have oil, but you're paying towards the expense of, you're giving towards the expense, so the oil will become yours also. That's how it should be. When you're actually part of the house, so like the children, the daughters, the wife, it's not necessary. But here, you're a guest. Perhaps if you were a boarder for a very long amount of time, it wouldn't be necessary, but it's better this way. It's not a big deal. And you should be there, make sure you're there by the candle lighting. And we spoke about this yesterday. It's important to be there. And give something towards, give me a quarter, 2 quarter, whatever. Give something substantial.
My father לא מוציא אותי לרחוב light in his house.
No, you can't be mighty from a different house. No, it could work, husband and wife, it could work actually. That the husband can mate to the wife the husband, even though you're not in the same place. But even then, it says there's an issue where we spoke yesterday that if you're not by the Menorah lighting and you see Menorah later on, there's a question of the bracha. We're not going into that now. But in terms of so practically, anyways, they want you in that situation. They would want to be by Menorah lighting. But halachically, the husband can be made to wife, husband, even though they're not there, but not with children, not necessarily. If you're not in the same place, I don't think it's going to work with children. If you're not living there, I don't think so.
So if you start lighting from the wrong side, what do you do?
If you start lighting from the wrong side,
Yeah, like you put the candles on the left side and you start lighting from the.
yes,
So you light from right to left?
there is the proper way how to do it. Okay, so there's the proper way how to do it, but if you don't do it that way, you still do the mitzvah.
Okay.
The reason why we light, guys, I guess we didn't speak about this yet. We discussed this yesterday, how to light. Okay. So the way you're supposed to light is, so again, the custom is we light in the doorway, we put a chair in the doorway, we put it right in here, we put it there like this, and we set up from the right. We start setting up from the right, and then we go to the left, and we light left to right. The reason why we do it this way is because you're not supposed to skip over a mitzvah. And you're also supposed to be lighting the additional light to show how the miracle increased. So always start with the extra one. So when you set up the menorah from the right, and then you keep on adding towards the left, now the way you stand is you stand all the way to the left, and you start lighting the additional one to indicate how the miracle increased, and then you move to the right, because that's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to go from left to right. But if you didn't and you put everything on the left side, you still did the mitzvah. You're just not doing it the proper way, the way you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
Okay. So make sure that you light, when you light the menorah, there's enough oil. Many times you lit last night, lighting again, you're using oil, and you forget to put in oil. After you light, you realize there's no oil in it. But there isn't enough oil to burn the required amount of time. Then it's questionable if you did a mitzvah. Because the mitzvah is in the lighting. At the time of the lighting, that's when you do the mitzvah. At the time of the lighting, has to be lit in a way where it could burn the required amount of time. So if at the time of the lighting there wasn't enough oil for it to burn the required amount of time, it becomes questionable if you did the mitzvah. Why do I say questionable? Even though the mitzvah is in the lighting, but you could still say, there's reason to say you still did the mitzvah. You lit it. At that time you lit it and you did the mitzvah, so you add more oil. I'm saying questionable because I want to bring out that what you're going to have to do in that case, you're going to have to extinguish it and relight it. But you're not going to say a bracha again because the bracha is questionable, because could be you already did the mitzvah. If you lit it in a way where it can't burn at all, let's say you lit it in a place where the wind is like blowing. Somehow there's a strong wind, and for whatever reason decided, let me just light it. And as you're lighting it, then you never did the mitzvah. But if you actually lit it, but there isn't enough oil, then it's questionable if you did the mitzvah. Extinguish it, relight it without a bracha. On Hallel, on Chanukah, we say Hallel. We say the whole Hallel. Remember, we say the entire Hallel. Rosh Chodesh, we say half Hallel. On Chanukah, we say the entire Hallel. Remember, you have to say Al Hanisim. Include Al Hanisim in the davening. Erev Shabbos. So Erev Shabbos, this Erev Shabbos is already lighting the second light. So the Seder, the order is that we daven Mincha first, which you always do because you daven Mincha before you light Shabbos candles. This week, the men will also make sure to daven Mincha earlier before they light candles. So they'll do Mincha, and then they will light the Chanukah candles. And then comes Shabbos candles. What do you mean then comes Shabbos candles? The men are doing the Chanukah candles and the women are doing the Shabbos candles. What does it mean then? This is the order how it's supposed to be done. It can happen sometimes that the same person is doing both. Right? If you have an apartment and you light Chanukah candles, sometimes the men have to light Shabbos candles. There are the situations. So this is the order how it's done. Mincha, Chanukah candles, and Mincha has to be specifically done before the Chanukah candles. And then comes Shabbos candles. You also want to make sure in terms of muktzeh, because you could have a problem when it comes to muktzeh Friday night. You lit the Chanukah menorah and you put it in the doorway, and then the menorah is extinguished, and now you can't wait. It's a pain, and you have to walk through it. It's the space is very tight. Now it's muktzeh. So if you want to avoid that problem, you can put on the chair before you light, put a siddur. Best is to put a challah, wrap it up in something so it doesn't get dirty, and you put it there. And then later when the candles are extinguished, you could move the chair. If you need the space, you'll be allowed to move it. So that's just good advice. Huh? Because the challah was there, so now you'll be allowed. That's if you need the space. So it's not a green light to move it for no reason. People are used to when there's challah on the table, you can move the table with the candles, which is correct. But really, it's not exactly a green light to move it in any situation. Usually, by default, that's how it is. If someone is moving it, there's a reason, because he needs the space or whatever. But you can't move it for no reason at all. So if you need the space, you can't walk through. Now you could move it because it's challah there before Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos. What is the Seder of Motzei Shabbos? The Seder of Motzei Shabbos is there's a difference between the shul and the house. In other words, we're going to be lighting Chanukah candles after Shabbos is over. But we also have to hear Havdalah. What comes first? Havdalah or Chanukah candles? So there's different opinions, and because of that, it evolved that in the house there's one custom, and Shul there's a different custom. And that's how it is. In the house, first goes Havdalah. House goes Havdalah first. And then we light Chanukah candles. Do any of you say V'yitin L'cha after Havdalah here? Do you do that? Some of you do it, V'yitin L'cha? So those who say V'yitin L'cha after Havdalah will do it after Chanukah candles. So it's Havdalah, then we don't say V'yitin L'cha, then comes Chanukah candles, and then goes V'yitin L'cha. In the Shul, first goes Chanukah candles, and then goes Havdalah. Tonight, we have to remember that we switch, and you may see that they put up the signs. This is extremely organized. It's really amazing how everything they put signs and clear. The same Talmud. So tonight, or if you have a maitiv, if not that, I think most of you don't have a maitiv. So then Shachris tomorrow morning, you switch in the Amida, instead of the same bracha, you say the same Tal Umatar. What if you forget? You make a mistake. Say the same bracha, and you realize, okay, you realize right away. So just say the same Talamata. You don't have to go back to the beginning of the bracha. Say the same Talamata. By the way, it doesn't work the same, the opposite way around every situation. So the time of the year when you're switching from Talamata to the same bracha, make a mistake is different. So don't apply what I'm discussing now to the next time when we switch. Discussing because when you're saying rain, you're not supposed to. It's an issue. Now you're supposed to be saying so. It's okay. So we're discussing specific by this switch. You say the same bracha. You should have said the same talamata. So what do? When did you realize? I'm still in the middle of the bracha. Okay. I guess we could try to do it without a siddur. I think it should work. If not, we have to take a siddur. We'll see if you get what I'm saying. You're in the bracha, okay? You realize the same bracha, and you keep on going. Oh, I didn't say the same bracha. I didn't say the same talamata. Okay, so go back and say the same talamata bracha, and then go. Don't just go back and then go back to the Yaptamim. You can repeat everything. You're going back and you're saying everything again from where you're up to. The same Talmud. Once you say the Hashem's name from Baruch Atah Hashem, you said Hashem's name. Okay, it doesn't matter if you said, we're not talking about there's other Hashem's name. Kel is also Hashem's name. We're not discussing that Hashem's name. Once you say Baruch Atah Hashem, you have to finish the bracha. Say Mevarach Hashanim. Don't go back now. Finish the bracha. Say Mevarach Hashanim. And now, you know what you're going to do now? Anyone who remembers? Just curious, anyone remembers what you do? No? You're going to say V'sein Tal Umatal Levracha. You're going to say those words. You're right after the bracha. You said Mevarach Hashanim. You're going to say V'sein Tal Umatal Levracha. Well, I'm discussing. You did not yet begin the next bracha. You did not. What's the next bracha after that? Anyone knows? Tekah, right? Tekah b'Shef Gadol. You did not yet begin the next bracha. That's what I'm discussing now. If you already began the next bracha, that's a different story. You already began the next bracha, now you have to continue. And then, in the middle of the bracha of Shemei Tefillah, you will include the same Talmud Mater Livracha. So once you begin the bracha Tekah b'Shef, you said that just the first word Tekah, you just continue. And when you come to the bracha of Shemei Tefillah, you will include in the bracha of Shemei Tefillah, you will include the words V'sein Talmud Mater. And that will be done before the word ki ata. It's in the same place where on a fast day we include anenu. You look in the city, you'll see there's a place where we include anenu at some point, on a fast day, right? You know what I'm saying? There's anenu that we say on a fast day. In Shemei Tzil, there's a spot where we break and we go to anenu. So in that spot, you'll say the same talamot leviracha. And the same thing will be if you forget in Shema Kilenu, and you already said the bracha, you ended the words Baruch Atah Hashem, finish the bracha, Shemei Tefillah, and then say the words right there and then, the same talamot leviracha. Because you still didn't begin the next bracha, you're still connected to the bracha, and you can still make that request for rain, and it's still going to have a connection to the bracha of Shema Kilenu.
Even till now, I say like Talmud Levacha from the time that we changed for the first bracha, Meshiv Aroch Umor Geshem.
If someone said talamota,
Yeah, and like from I thought when we were changing to Meshiv Aroch Umor Geshem, I changed straight to Talmud Levacha like that.
no one told you. Wow, yeah, I've seen people do that. Yeah, you have to repeat the Amida. You have to repeat the Shemoneh Esrei. Yeah.
But I did it like
Wow.
from
Wow. Okay, you didn't know. You didn't know. It's not your fault. Now you're learning. You're learning.
Yeah. It's different between
Right.
the Shabbat Siddur and the Sfaradim Siddur?
No. No one says Talmud until the right. In Eretz Yisrael, they start a little earlier. But they don't. It doesn't work at the same time. Right. So you're actually supposed to repeat the Amida. If you realize right away, you have to go back to the beginning of the bracha, Baruch Aleinu.
Wait, so
if you would anyway, it's too late. By now it's already over. I mean, if you would say, let's say today.
Today I'm saying Talmud.
No, if let's say you make a mistake today, you say Talmud. You're gonna say Talmud, and you realize right away, you're actually supposed to go back to the beginning of the bracha of Baruch Aleinu. That's what I said before. It's different when it goes the other way around. Yeah. Okay.
You just go back to the beginning of the bracha.
Of Baruch Aleinu to cancel out, because she mentioned rain in the wrong time. To cancel it out, you go back to the beginning of the bracha.
This is. And it says to start from Sukkot.
Let me take a look over here. Where does it say? I can't read this language. What does it say?
Oh, it's French.
What does it say? Tell me what it says.
No, this is like for fasting.
You're telling me about saying Talmud earlier on, together with Masha and Gershon.
No, that's
so
in Siddur.
what are you trying to show me with this?
We just
They say Anenu in Beres Hashanim.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why
Because I say we include Anenu. That's the term. I meant when we include the Shema Kilenu, you also have Anenu Shema Kilenu.
No, on the Siddur of the Sfaradim, you have a whole bracha for summer and a whole bracha for winter.
We have different.
So you show me that in a fast day they include Anenu and Baruch Aleinu. That's what you're trying to show me?
No. I'm trying to show you that we have two different sections. Like when it's winter and the summer, there's different.
Oh, so they set it up in two sections.
Yeah.
So it comes winter.
And it says it indicates in the Siddur that winter starts from Sukkot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's very interesting. Okay, I have to look into it. This is where? Which country?
What do you mean?
Sfaradim in general.
Sfaradim in general. It's about mostly Moroccans.
And this is what it says in for.
That's for the winter.
What does it say here? What is it in for? Tell me what it says. It says you should start in Sukkot.
It says de la nuit du 4 au 5 décembre, from the 4th or 5th day of December. Until Chol HaMoed Pesach.
Okay, there you go. That's it. Okay, that's today. 4th or 5th. That's why we're starting tonight. Okay, so we resolved the issue.
Today in the Mincha.
Tonight.
But
today Mincha is saying the same bracha.
But we say bracha, but then bracha al Pnei Adama, and from Arvit I start to say
Talmud. Right.
Good, so nice to know that.
Okay.
Half of my year to go.
Okay, so now let me just finish this up because we're already on the top. Let's finish up. Let's say you already forgot Shema Kilenu, you already start Ritzei. and then you realize you finish Maki Leinu, you started the next blessing, you go back to Baruch Aleinu then. If you finish the Amida, you repeat the whole Amida. So bottom line is, if you finish the Amida, oh, I didn't say Talamotar. You have to repeat the Amida.
How do you?
Yeah, you're waiting. You want to ask something? 1 second, one at a time.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's a difference. There's like in the
Yeah.
beginning of the winter and the summer in the first page. The winter is from Musaf of the first.
Oh, the
page.
first page, right?
Yeah.
In Mashur, when you're just
So,
mentioning
Is
rain.
the difference?
Yes, right. When you're mentioning rain, we mentioned earlier. Asking for rain comes later. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so weird. I never
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Okay, so that's why it's all. That's why you got to look at the footnotes. Yeah. Okay, you want to ask something?
Yeah, to restart Shemona Esrei, like, if you've already like stepped out and like walked away and then you realize, then you still do 3 steps back, 3 steps forward and restart? Or can you, I heard like you start from like just Baruch Atah Hashem. I don't know, like, I don't know. Like,
If you haven't gone back 3 steps,
yeah,
if you didn't go back 3 steps, then you could just start from Baruch Atah Hashem. Once you
Okay.
went back 3 steps, you're starting again, and you start from the beginning. Hashem Svasei Tiftach.
okay.
Okay. This will stop here. Everyone, Chanukah. Now, so you had a question
Yeah.
about off the topic, something you want to ask me
Yeah.
now?
So we have a Hefker pile, or
Yeah.
just like a Hefker thing in the dorm, and on Shabbos, like sometimes like people will like go and like take things from our Hefker pile,
Wow.
and I feel like that's like I've heard situations where like especially in Yerushalayim, like there's these like Hefker like book stations where like they're just like in the street, and I remember my friend once took one on Shabbos. Because it's like, I mean, it says it's Hefker, and so she took one and she asked the rabbi, and the rabbi said she can't do that on Shabbos, because it's like, I don't know. Like,
She
Yeah,
took
it's like
what on
Shabbos.
Shabbos?
a book, like one of those like books in like a free book library in like Yerushalayim, like they have them like
Yeah,
randomly
okay.
like on the street.
The rabbi says she can't do it on Shabbos. Why?
I don't remember, it's like you're like receiving something or
A
like,
gift.
yeah, or something like
You're
that.
not supposed to give gifts on Shabbos.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what he's saying. It makes sense. You're not supposed to give gifts because it's a type of, just like we don't acquire,
Right,
transferring acquisition.
yeah,
So it's the same idea. When you're taking something, you're acquiring it. Oh, wow, it's interesting. I never thought of it in that way, but it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you're taking, you're also acquiring it. You're being it.
yeah.
So take it before Shabbos.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, would it, because it's a Hefker pile, it's like, it's Hefker, but it's inside our dorm, like, would it be considered as if, like, we own it already? Like,
I
because
would
it was
say
given, it was
so.
already given to the dorm, like, it was
Right.
given before Shabbos. We received all these clothes and things like that.
It already belongs to everyone there. It's
Or
not like
does
it comes.
it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's not like you haven't taken it into your personal possession, like, it's in a group, community area.
To me, it makes sense that it should be okay. It's already in the dorm. It's for everyone. It was put there that everyone could use.
Yeah,
What's if they bring food? They bring food and they put food to everyone to take.
yeah,
It's already set up that
yeah. What about like taking?
let me ask you,
Yeah,
if my daughter decides to come into the dorm and take clothes from there, they're gonna let her? No. It's not hefker for the whole Crown Heights.
yeah,
It's for Machaliadis. It's
Yeah.
not a hefker, like, it's already the sort of an ownership that it's for the school, right?
I mean, we do let like
I
outside.
know, I'm not saying you're gonna make
Yeah.
a big fight, but really, it's not. Okay, anyone from Crown Heights will walk in and take
Yeah.
clothes from there.
Right,
Excuse me, what are you doing here, right?
yeah. So like, what about if somebody were to go in there and like take something for after Shabbos? Like they want to like look through the Hefker pile on Shabbos to take something for after Shabbos.
There could be an issue of preparing, could be an issue of separating,
Yeah.
because when things are mixed together, you're not supposed to separate, you're separating, it's another problem.
Yeah.
Separating,
Yeah,
it's mixed, they're separating for after Shabbos, you shouldn't
Right.
do that.
yeah.